This is the Sports Report, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Oh, wait, Connor. We don't do the Sports Report anymore now, do
Damn,
we?
that's like 5 years old, man. We haven't done
All
the
right,
sports
all right,
report in
guys.
5 years.
This is Spitting Fire with Matt and Connor. It's been a minute. We missed the regular season, but we're here now. Playoffs.
Playoffs.
You ready to get it?
Yeah, let's go. What game do we
All right.
want to talk first? Do we want to talk last week or do we want to talk upcoming?
Man, whatever you feel.
Well, I mean, let's just start with your Steelers. How do you want to talk Big Ben? Let's start with that.
I mean, he got what he got the rest of this season when they're getting blown out. He got a few second half touchdowns and he gets to hang his hat on those.
Garbage time, man. Garbage time matters. It's stats.
I have no idea how we beat Baltimore. Like, did you watch that game?
Yeah, I mean, Baltimore's not good though.
No, but we were struggling, man.
Yeah.
We were letting Latavius Murray up the gut for 50-yard touchdowns. They can't do anything. They can't throw.
No, I mean, I agree. Other than the Steelers beat Buffalo in week 1, right?
Yes.
That might go down as the craziest game of the season. Buffalo has the two craziest losses of the entire season: the Steelers and the Jags.
Well,
no sense.
The thing with that Buffalo game was it was kind of similar to the game that we just got blown out by the Chiefs in that we had that big start from the defense, and TJ Watt's a difference maker. He's one of the few players you can say in the NFL where, hey, this guy is affecting the spread. He's a difference maker, like a quarterback almost. I mean, in that game against Buffalo, the difference was we had big turnovers at the end of the game too, but we were getting turnovers. We were probably we barely beat Buffalo in week 1 and we probably were +4.
Yeah.
Against Kansas City, we were +2 and lost by 21. So we needed probably 3 more turnovers to be competitive with Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, anytime Patrick Mahomes goes off for 405 touchdowns, that's going to be tough for any defense to overcome. But yeah, man, TJ Watt's a problem. He's really good. So I think the real question is, where do the Steelers go from here?
Well, so this is what I've been talking about with my buddies, is that I was hoping we could get Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers. Okay. The Packers, I think they may win the Super Bowl if the Rams don't get past them. Yeah. And second, he probably goes to Denver before he goes to Pittsburgh. Right. As much as the Mike Tomlin meme is fun and he likes that, and everyone plays that on TikTok, but second choice would be Russell Wilson, and Ciara's not going to have any of that. Not one bit, not for 1 second. She's only tier 1 or tier 1B cities, right? So tier 1's New York and LA.
Yeah,
she's
what's a 1B?
Tier 1B, maybe Seattle, Chicago. His first choice is the Bears. Miami, that's 1B. You can throw Seattle in there, maybe San Francisco. And she had her stamp of approval on Chicago last year, I guess. He was almost there, and he came back. I mean, what do you think is going to happen with Russ?
Russ, I think, I mean, I don't think he goes anywhere. I feel like the
Rodgers thing, it's just talk.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Seahawks are good enough that they're not trying to full rebuild. I mean, I guess maybe it's just Russ is too good for them to be bad, but I don't know, because the hope would be if you're going to trade a franchise quarterback, especially like Russell, where Russell's young-ish, right? He's definitely a lot younger than Rodgers. He's not he's not 38, 39 where he's got a year or 2 or even 3 left.
Right.
He's got, some years left, some good years left. So you trade your franchise quarterback if you think you have the guy behind him, right? Which is kind of the Packers situation where at least they thought Jordan Love. I don't think he is, but they think Jordan Love might be the guy. And you trade it up and spend a first-round pick on him. So that, definitely think about doing that. Or you're trying to go full rebuild and your quarterback, it just keeps you in too many games and you get some picks out of him and you'll get, you'll be bad next year. Problem is the Seahawks don't have their first round pick this year because of Jamal Adams, which still will go down as one of the worst trades ever. It's insane that they traded 2 first rounders for Jamal
Remind
Adams.
Everyone what it was.
Yeah, it was 2 first rounders for Jamal Adams. Now, maybe there was some other stuff in there. It would have been before last year.
And then a break, and then this year.
Yeah, so, I mean, he was good last year, but, I mean, all he does is just blitz. He's basically another outside linebacker from the safety position. He's the worst by far cover safety in the NFL. The Rams abuse him every game they play.
We used to have one of the worst, Terrell Edmonds, although he's decent now. But
yeah, I mean, Jamal Adams, he's a good safety in what he can bring to the table, but he's the worst cover safety. So now you have a one-dimensional guy that you spent 2 first-round picks on, which, to keep in perspective, I mean, Jalen Ramsey, the Rams got for 2 first-rounders. And Jalen Ramsey's been the best defensive back in the NFL for the past 3. I mean, he's been it since he came into the league, right? He's been one of the best guys. And he's been
it's not just that. You have a complete enough team on the Rams to actually win the Super Bowl. That's why you make those splash plays. Yeah,
exactly. When you're one player away, an elite shutdown corner.
Right.
Away,
the Steelers aren't going and trading for, Cooper Kupp or whatever, because they know their O-line's a disaster.
Right.
It's like,
but that's the concern with trading for a big quarterback is, one, what assets do the Steelers have? Because I don't feel like they have any additional picks other than their own. Maybe they have some fringe ones, but it's not like they've traded any big guys for extra first rounders.
No, we have like fringe 6th round picks because Melvin Ingram went to the Chiefs. If you remember that.
Right. And so it's nothing. Like nothing. And so that's where I look at, if we're talking about one of these big teams or a team trying to make a splash for a big quarterback, Denver's going to get the best quarterback that gets traded. That's just a fact. I mean, they have multiple first rounders. They got a second and a third from the Rams this year. Like, they have a ton of picks right now, so they can do something. Like, what team that needs a quarterback has a lot of picks, and that's kind of what it's going to come down to, or a player they're willing to trade. And so that's the thing, is that the Steelers are in a weird spot because they don't have a ton of assets. They need a ton of help on the offensive line, and then it's like, okay, well, where do you go from here, right? Like, how are you going to get Russell Wilson? What are you going to give up? Because, again, you look at the going rate, Stafford was 2 first rounders, and Russell's proven it and is better than Stafford. Right. And like, I can be as biased as I want about Stafford, but for sure Russell's better. And so if it's 2 first rounders to get Stafford, what's it going to be to get Russell? And the Steelers, you know better than I do. Do you ever remember them making a splashy move like that? Like, when have they ever made a huge...
Only the Minkah Fitzpatrick trade, and that was 1 first rounder, and that turned out to be a great trade.
Totally. And so that's the thing, is the GM aggressive enough to be like, all right, we're not going to have picks for the next four years?
No, I think what we're going to do is do the year where Ben was out for the whole year, which was 2 years ago, and go like 7, 8 and 9 next year, and just do the Duck Hodges, Mason Rudolph thing. Duck's gone.
I love Duck. Duck was on the Rams for a minute. We love Duck.
Yeah, so Duck's gone, but I think we're going to do that and bide our time, and kind of like a reverse Cincinnati Bengals, where we have more pieces on defense and need a little bit of help maybe with receiving core, but same thing where we need the O-line to get built up, and then maybe try to nail someone next year. I'm not sure anything happens for us next year. I think maybe 2023, 2024 is when we get the quarterback.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you. I'm not sure where the Steelers can go.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, I mean, as a Rams fan, I've seen that one good offensive line pickup, and I guess we got 2, but Andrew Whitworth has changed our entire team, right? The Rams are horrible, got Whitworth, and he's been a rock and doing incredible things of playing at 40 and playing still at a high level. I saw something that he was like the number 1 or like top 3 rated pass blocking left tackles in the NFL this season. And it's like, the dude's doing it literally at 40 years old. He's the 2nd oldest player in the NFL behind Brady. Yeah. That's insane that he's able to do that stuff. So maybe someone comes available and the Steelers can get him. But again, like, is there anyone on the line you'd keep? Like, is anyone good? And that's the thing of, like, you look at that. And so you need a whole offensive line and a quarterback and maybe another pass catcher somewhere. And it's like,
definitely a pass catcher. Well, that's the thing that I think is hard for next year. And we got to move on to not just do a Steelers podcast. But by the way, Connor's breaking out the raspberry white claw for all our longtime listeners. We're bringing it back. If you know, you know. And anyways, but with the Steelers, it's like, do they need a pass catcher, or was Ben that bad?
I think Ben was that bad.
Because Claypool was amazing 2 years ago when Ben had a good start and they were 11-0. And Claypool's not meant to be the same receiver that Deontay Johnson is. I mean, Deontay has his own problems with drops, and he basically doesn't want to be hit ever, and he plays in the NFL. It's a problem.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I mean, we need another receiver, but do we need like 2 receivers and 1 receiver 1? Maybe, maybe not.
Right.
And that's it. So,
Yeah.
Anyways, what are the other teams we need to talk about? I mean, probably all of them, but let's blitz through from last week. We'll go through the losing teams and then we'll run the games coming up. So Raiders, they keep this guy, this head coach, Marcosha.
I like Bisaccia. I mean,
I said Marcosha. How bad is that?
Yeah, that's bad. Bisaccia, I mean, he came in. You got Ruggs, you got their other first round pick from last year, who both got cut this year, and Gruden leaves. I mean, that's a brutal way to have your season and then still close out and win the play or get to the playoffs. And came close to beating the Bengals, right? They were one play away from beating the Bengals, but I mean, knowing Mark Davis, dude loves splashy moves, and so I don't think that they're going to keep Bisaccia. But I mean, that guy is a great coach, and I think he could be successful somewhere else if the Raiders don't want to keep him. But
I think they're going to keep him.
I don't know what their move is.
You're running that Mark Davis psychology too hard. I think they're going to keep him. I'm 100 with you on Mark Davis, but for some reason they're going to keep him.
So do they?
He'll
keep
freak
Derek
out
Carr?
6 games into the season next year.
Yeah, fair.
Jerry Jones.
Derek Carr.
What's up? Yeah, they're keeping him.
Carr? Yeah. I think he could be on the move. And I think almost that's kind of what the Steelers should target, is almost a tier 2 quarterback where you could get him with the assets you have and then use everything else to go to the line and then figure it out. Like, I think, because I think Derek Carr is a good quarterback. He's not, he's not the best quarterback. He's not elite or, tier 1 or maybe even 2, but he's pretty good and he's been successful. And I mean, he did well in the game on Saturday. So I think, he's
what his QBR was in games below freezing before this last week?
What?
4.
Yeah, that's not good. But how many did he play? How many has he played?
That's his 3rd.
Okay. I mean, yeah, there you go. He had 2 games below freezing, and it's like he didn't play well.
That's not enough data in the Excel sheet, right?
Right. But a California guy who's only played in warm weather, like, yeah, you'd always worry about that. Was the Jared Goff problem, is come December, January, he was not good because he's small hands.
Small hands. Okay. Patriots, run it.
Yeah, Patriots were so overrated this year. I mean, they had a good defense, and they're always going to have a good defense because Belichick is a wizard and can figure things out. But I mean, Mac Jones, first off, you have a rookie quarterback, so take everything out. Yeah, it's a rookie quarterback. And 2, like, not a great one. He's fine. He's okay. I mean, talking about that game, the Bills are probably the best team in the NFL right now. They played a perfect game, literally a perfect game. If they play even close to that, I don't know how anyone beats them. But I think the Patriots were just so overmatched, and that was 20 years of the Bills getting killed by the Patriots coming out against them.
Yeah, it's good it went that way because I agree. People were talking about what's the team that has the most pressure to win last week, and it was the Bills. They can't lose that game to the Patriots.
No, I agree. And you look too, it's like, oh, well, they split the regular season. It's like, well, they split the one game the Patriots won. It was like 70 mile an hour. Yeah. And you're like, okay, well, anything can happen there. Like, yes, the Patriots won and they had a better game plan, whatever. They deserve the win. But that's insane circumstances that you can't count on. And even normal circumstances, there's no shot. Now, granted, the other part is it was like negative 15 degrees in Buffalo on Saturday. So that was pretty cold. But
yeah. And then I agree. We'll keep it moving. Eagles, Bucks. My takeaway with that was we're only going to talk about the losing teams here. Hurts, he looked bad.
Do you think they move on? Are they getting a new quarterback?
No, I don't think they move on at all.
I think they will.
He was missing. Like, he looked way worse than Ben. And Ben's bad.
Yeah.
Ben's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
Big Ben's missing like fades like down the sideline, like deep fades. Hurts is missing like basic crossing routes, like open. You can't miss basic crossing routes. A crossing route's one of the easiest completions.
Yeah, totally. And so, I mean, here's the deal. I don't think they should move on from Hurts. But the reason the Eagles drafted Hurts in the 2nd round when they had supposedly their franchise quarterback in Carson Wentz at that time.
Right.
So I think the Eagles are they're in a similar roster construction mindset as the Rams, in that they're going to take the best player. And if they can get someone, they also have multiple 1st-round picks this year from the Carson Wentz deal. So, I mean, if they could throw 2 1st-round picks at Seattle or at Green Bay or at Oakland, I mean, Derek Carr, or I guess not Oakland, Las Vegas, but Derek Carr is an upgrade over Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, and Tom Brady at 44 was pushing the ball through that wind. and Jalen Hurts was just all over the place. So
yeah, he's got to figure that out. I mean, I like Jalen Hurts. I like him a lot, but
me too.
I think he's going to be good somewhere else. I don't think the Eagles keep him.
He's like a gamer like Dak, but less accuracy.
He's just not as good of a quarterback. I mean, he's not.
Of course, he's not.
He's a great runner. He's, like you said, super competitive, great teammate from everything you hear from him at Alabama and him in Philly. Like, he's a great guy. I would love to have on a team, but I think that he's just not. There's a reason Tua came in over him and stayed. Like, I think, and we've seen what Tua can do. Tua, it's not like he's the Peyton Manning come in. So
no, I don't even know if he's gonna stay.
Right. And so that's where you look at Hurts lost his job to that guy. Like, I don't know how great he is, but maybe he is. Who knows?
Yep. Niners, Cowboys. I rolled in on my rollerblades in Newport to the bar. This guy, Connor, said it would be okay to roll in the bar on the blades. The bartender wasn't having any of it. So I took him off. But
okay. In my defense on that, I didn't think you were literally rolling into the bar in them. I thought because you were like, oh, I'm going to grab my flip-flops. And I was like, all right, cool. He's going to come into those. Oh, no, he comes literally rolling into the bar.
It's kind of like those Western movies where everyone just turns.
Oh, yeah. And then she was not having you the entire time. She was not happy.
Yeah, she wasn't happy. She's like, give me your ID.
And keep in mind, this is Balboa Saloon, which is the jankiest. If there's ever a bar that this stuff flies in, it is this one. And they still were like, nope.
That's why I trusted it.
I know.
Anyways, we're watching Niners Cowboys, and I think people are freaking out on the Cowboys. So I'm taking the side that this happens. It's not something to overreact to. The Packers have lost some games in their time with Rodgers, like this game happens. I think they're well constructed. I think they're good. The whole just pile on Mike McCarthy TV commentator thing that everyone's doing, I'm not on it.
Yeah, I don't think it's all McCarthy's fault, but you got to look at a team where all of the money is invested into the offense and everything is to get the offense to go. And normally in a situation like that, your offense is good, your defense sucks. Cowboys had actually a really good defense this year and their offense couldn't put together. When you look at the Cowboys, what on offense? Because that's their issue. What are they missing? They have a $40 million
juice.
I absolutely do too, but
I don't think he has the juice anymore.
Paying him $15 million, you can't get rid of him. And so that's the problem, is that you now have a $40 million quarterback, a $15 million running back, and another $15 million receiver. And then you also have CD, who's going to have to get paid not anytime soon because he's only in second year, but CD, and they have their line that's not what it was, 4 or 5 years ago, but still very good. The offense, I think Dak's just not that good. I love Dak. I want to support Dak. I hope Dak does well. I think he's not that good. And so I think that's going to be the problem, is that you have a guy that isn't great. And then I think McCarthy is good, but not great also. And that's the problem, is you have two good guys in Dak and McCarthy. One of those guys needs to be great for the Cowboys to win. And that's the problem. And McCarthy was good in Green Bay because Rodgers was great. Right. And a guy like Stafford is good, but McVay is great. And so Stafford's good. And so that's the problem I feel like with Dak, is that he's just, it's a bad situation. I don't know who the right move is. I think the worst job in football is the Cowboys head coach, but I don't know what their right answer is.
Except for that, it'd be unbelievably fun.
It'd be fun.
Jerry Jones Stadium home games.
Yeah. But have you been?
Yes.
I mean, SoFi?
No, haven't been.
Yeah. I mean, Cowboy Stadium's old news now. Forget that. But
sure.
But I think the point I'm making is that you have a good head coach in Mike McCarthy. Who are you going to get that you think is actually going to be better than that? And if you can get someone, or you have identified someone who is better than McCarthy, absolutely go do that. But I don't know that there's a lot of guys there's no one super sticking out where you're like, that guy's going to be a star. We need to go get him right now.
No.
And that's the problem, is that I don't know who the right answer would be to take over for McCarthy. And so, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I kind of like Dan Quinn a little bit better than I would.
Unless you got Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma. And
no, he's in USC.
Gave him $1 billion. Did you see that deal? They're like, here's the private jet.
Buy a new house.
Yeah, they bought his house in LA, whatever, $20 million house in LA. Buy both of his houses in Oklahoma for over market.
Yep.
Infinite private jet. Infinite setup with the kids and the family.
That's what you got to do. If you're a team going to college, I mean, switching gears to college right now, now, especially with name, image, and likeness stuff, USC should be the best recruiting team in the country because they can not only say we have Lincoln Riley, we paid him $1 billion. We're going to make sure that you get paid infinite money to come here and perform. I think they're going to kill it. You already saw all the guys switching from Oklahoma or from other schools now to USC. I mean, I'm a UCLA guy, but Pac-12 is good for everyone. So
yeah, it is. Pac-12's been struggling. We support everyone. We support our rivals. Like
anyone.
Every week we're cheering our rivals on.
Yes.
That's how bad it's been.
Yes.
But I think it'll take a couple years. I think Alabama, the SEC are going to hold that grip for a couple years. And then I think what you're saying will get interesting.
I mean, I think it'll only take a couple years because the guys he's going to have like a top 5 recruiting class now. And they're just all going to be young. So
but it's not there yet.
Sure, yeah, but I think it'll be quick. I think it's going to be very quick that they get good. All
right,
with moving
the Cowboys. Okay, we'll touch Cardinals. My thing is Cliff Kingsbury never should have been the coach.
No, he sucks.
Yeah,
he's not good. He's not a good coach. I think the Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals are super
regression too.
Yeah, they're talented, but this is going back to his Texas Tech days. This is what Kingsbury's always done, where they start out super strong and then they just suck by the end of the season, and it's happened every year. And this year, the Cardinals team was just good enough to still get them into the playoffs.
Right.
But I mean, you watch that Rams game, halfway through the third quarter, OBJ had more passing yards than Kyler Murray did. Yeah. He looked baffled. And then the Rams kind of let off the gas and they scored 11 points. But I mean, if the Rams wanted to, if it was a Super Bowl, the Cardinals wouldn't have scored the entire game.
No.
Like they could not do anything. I think Kyler's good. I don't know what you really do with him because the problem with him is he's always hurt. He's always good at the beginning of the season, and then he gets hurt somehow, and then he sucks. And that's
he's
like
totally
hurt. This game is like if he doesn't have 100% mobility, if he has 98% mobility, he's not the same guy.
No,
he's not there, and so
he'll get chased down by Von Miller.
Yeah, he has to be 100%, and that's that. No one's ever 100% in the NFL, and so the second he drops off a tiny bit, it's tough for them. And then I think, again, Cliff's just not a good coach. So
I thought that game was a good example of how in the NFL, if you're just outmatched by a little bit in every way, you're going to get destroyed.
Yep.
Because that early season Cardinals, I thought their offense was really balanced. When Kyler was 100% healthy and James Conner, of all people, was 100% healthy, they had a sweet balance between that kind of power-ish running back who could also be a receiving back, and the rest of their offense is all athletic type guys, and they had good play calling. And then you get outplay called in every direction, your guys aren't 100% and you're blown out.
Yep, it can happen very quickly.
Okay, Connor, let's do it. How far are we? We're already like 30 minutes in.
Yeah, I know.
We're gonna keep it running though. What do we want to start with?
Let's start first game, Bengals
Titans. Who you got?
I think I maybe think the Bengals will win. I like a -3.5 or +3.5. I really like the Bengals in this situation. I mean, they've been tough. Every game they're tough. If they're healthy, which they are ish, they're tough. And I think talk about a gamer. We were talking about Jalen Hurts. Joe Burrow is a freaking gamer. He's awesome. That dude is so tough. Dude just wants to win. I mean, I love Joe Burrow. I love everything about him. He's the argument is going to be very interesting in a few years of Justin Herbert versus Joe Burrow, because Herbert's super talented, really good, but Burrow, man, that guy, he wins games. That's what it comes down to.
What's awesome about the Bengals is you could throw them up against the Rams, you can throw them against the Chiefs, Bills, and they're going to have a fun game because they win individual matchups, one-on-one matchups. So even if you're out-coached, out-schemed, you can have a great game.
Well, and the craziest to me was Joe Burrow against the Ravens threw for 500 yards and Jamar Chase did nothing. The next game, Burrow threw for 350 yards. Chase had 270 of them and 3 touchdowns.
I think fantasy managers really struggled with that throughout the whole season.
Totally.
It was T. Higgins or it was Jamar Chase.
Totally. But if I'm an opposing coach, what do? Right? Again, I put myself in the Rams mindset every time. Who's Ramsey guarding? I mean, you got to guard Jamar Chase, right? But then it's then that's going to decide to be the Tyler Boyd game where he goes off, or it's going to be T. Higgins that he goes off. And someone's going to have a huge game. And I think the Bengals are legit. And I think, maybe they win this game against the Titans. I don't know. it'll be interesting if Derrick Henry's actually healthy.
Right. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I mean, Cam Akers came back in 5.5 months from a torn Achilles. Modern science is incredible. I think Derrick Henry might be totally healthy, and if he is, they're a problem. But
it's a game that's always, it's totally dependent on the Titans. Like this game could have like 3 different scenarios. Like that game where the Titans are just balling running and they win by 7 or 8.
Yep.
There's they play from behind and are throwing. Bengals probably come out points and spread, and then there's something in between. But yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with Derrick Henry. Connor, what you watching, man?
No, I'm on ESPN, and the autoplay ad finally started playing volume.
Classic. So
very classic thing.
I'm on the Titans because I am going to take that scenario where they are going to run. Henry's going to be a problem. The Bengals aren't going to be able to stop it. So I'm taking Tennessee straight up, and I'm taking Tennessee against the spread. And you're on the other side, right?
Yeah, I'm on the other side. I think, in that scenario, though, you got to take the under. In your situation, it's going to be a low scoring slugfest where the Titans run, a 14 play drive that takes 11 minutes off the clock. And then, it's just a slow game. So
yeah,
I like your play. If you're going to do that, I think you got to take the under in that too.
And that's 47.5. That's what you're seeing, right?
Yep.
The only thing I don't like about that is I've actually watched a lot of Titans games. And what happens is if you take that scenario, Henry runs a touchdown for 70 yards after breaking down the opposing defense the entire game.
Yeah, and then
the Bengals come back and score a touchdown right after that.
And then Tannehill throws a play action pass for 90 yards to
AJ Brown.
Yeah, and you're like, I was at the Rams Titans game, and it was just brutal how that was going on. So again, who knows? I think that's going to be a fun game. I think, the good thing is I think all the games this weekend are going to be fun.
They're all great matchups.
That might be the least fun game, and I'm excited about it, right? I think it's
good football. It's kind of like not as historical. Yeah. All right, Niners Packers, that's the Saturday night game.
Yep. What do you like,
I think this one's the one that has the most potential to be a blowout. I also think Bucks Rams could blow out the Bucks. I can't see the Bucks blowing out the Rams, but we'll get there. I like the Packers. Packers. It's at Green Bay. I think the Niners are awesome. They've got a great roster, but it's another one of those ones where you could go either way. I think they're all great games.
Yeah. I think, unfortunately, I think the Packers will also win the Super Bowl. But so I'm gonna pick the Packers. But man, I'm also jaded because I went to 2 years ago Niners Packers NFC Championship game in Santa Clara and watched the Niners run for 270 yards and Jimmy G throw the ball 6 times and they win the game. Yeah. And I could see something like that happen again. I don't know what's going to go on, and that's the problem with the Packers and betting on the Packers, especially in the playoffs, is they somehow always lose in the playoffs. And it's always in different fashions. It's never the same way. And so I don't know what's going to happen in this game. I'm also jaded because the Niners just beat the Rams. I don't know. I'm going to go with the Niners. But
well, you think Debo gets used a lot in a dome, and the Cowboys, he's going to be like in every play away at Green Bay in the cold. He's going to be like their quarterback this game.
Debo's insane. And the quarterback, Jimmy G is the problem. Jimmy G, I don't know that he's any good. Well, actually, I know he's not good. But the dude somehow keeps winning. Like he's a winner, right? But I don't know how. And so I think.
So is he like a Tannehill winner? You seem even lower on him than Tannehill.
Yeah, well, Tannehill's always healthy. Jimmy G's not. That's the difference. And so, Jimmy G's always won, but he's always been in good situations. He's just not always healthy. And so if the Niners can get a takeaway early and a touchdown and then be up all of a sudden 14-0 on the Packers, if the Niners can get to an early-ish lead, I think that they will just run the ball down their throat for 4 yards every single play the rest of the game. And I've seen enough. They did the Rams 3 times this year of 14-minute, 18-play drives. And you're like, well, that sucks. Now our offense hasn't been on the field all quarter. What's going on?
Right.
If they can get up and then do something like that, I definitely could see them squeezing one out. But who knows? The weather forecast, talk weather, 12 degrees in Wisconsin. So It'll be interesting. It'll be fun. Again, I'm excited for all these games. I could see this game going either way, but I think the most likely scenario is the Packers just are in control the entire game and roll them.
Yeah, so I think that's the most likely. Absolutely. Yeah. And 1 point on the long drives. It's not just that they're long drives. It's that when you're in the AFC, you're playing the Cardinals or something twice a year, you're not getting those long drives. Right. You're not used to that. It's something that throws off your team chemistry and how you feel. Totally. Okay. Totally. So that was 5.5. We're both on the Packers there, and then over under 47.
If I'm taking 5.5, I'm going over. But what I might end up doing, I think Packers definitely win the game, but I might sprinkle a little bit on Niners and the under. And again, just a slugfest, like hope the Niners run the ball.
Okay, but what are you doing for the pod? You can play both sides on your betting app. But
I'm taking Green Bay in the over.
Okay, got it. I'm taking Green Bay in the under.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, Rams Bucks. We got a line of 3 for Tampa Bay.
Yep.
I'm on the Rams, and I'm on the Rams in a blowout.
Yep.
I don't like to agree with you, Connor. But you guys are clicking on all cylinders.
Yep.
You even got OBJ throwing more pass yards for most of the games, like you said, with than Kyler Murray.
Yep.
I just don't see the Bucks are coming off an easy game against the Eagles. Yep. I'm going to get smacked in the face in the first quarter, and then it could tighten up from there. But I think the Rams cruise through this one, and then it's a question of how do you show up to Green Bay? How does that game go in the cold?
Well, that's also why I'm hoping the Niners win, because I want a rematch of the Niners at home. Although at this point, I don't know who I'd be more scared of, the Niners or the Packers. That's the craziest point. But I agree. I mean, I'm obviously so biased, so I recognize that. But I think the Rams
not be this biased. I just want to remind you. Yeah, I think you're not. Your fandom's only going up each year.
I agree. I think I'm just so biased about the Rams, and I think definitely Rams cover 3 points. I think it's gonna be over.
Okay, but remember last week when I said I was so biased about the Steelers, and I said I think they can win because TJ Watt, and then they go up 7-0 because TJ Watt. So sometimes bias can serve you well.
All right, that's fair.
So give me that shot.
I think the biggest thing is that the Bucks, their offensive line is banged up. And I think that's, having the same offensive line, it's what the Rams had when they went to the Super Bowl. Having the same offensive line all season is really important. They've had it for basically 2 seasons. Now they potentially have 2 starters out, and 2 of their better ones, and Tristan Wirfs and Ryan Jensen. I mean, having those guys out is going to be very, very tough for the Bucks in that situation. I think then you add it, forget anything else, that's tough. Then you add in, Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd are coming at you every play. How do you beat Brady, right? If you look at the history of him in the NFL, how do you beat Brady? You beat him by pressuring him with 4 people. Well, the Rams have probably the best 4-man rush in the NFL because they can do it from the outside. They can do it from the inside. They can mix it up. They can do whatever they want. And they are going to be terrifying to Tom Brady. I think you throw in Jalen Ramsey, who you don't have to worry about Antonio Brown. You don't most likely have to worry about Leonard Fournette. So their run game's shot. And Ronald Jones is probably out too. And so now it's like, all right, we just got to contain Mike Evans, and we can figure that out. And I think if you can pressure Brady, contain Mike Evans, which Ramsey can do better than anyone, I think we're kind of looking good here from that perspective. And then again, the offense, dude, Cam Akers, can we talk about him last week? That guy is, insane that he's even kind of healthy.
How about all those deep passes he gets?
Yeah, that's the element he can bring. Because Sony Michel's a good north-south runner, right? If you need 3 yards, he's the guy. He's going to get you 3 yards every time. Cam Akers he'll get you 15 every 2 or 3 runs, right? He's going to get you break the big ones, and he's incredible out of the backfield from catching pass. And he's a good pass blocker. So, he adds such an element to the Rams, and every week that goes by, he just gets healthier and healthier. I think that's a big added element that the Rams have right now that's going to be really valuable. And then you add in truly what it will come down to is, can Stafford play a clean game? If he can not turn the ball over, or even just have one that's not costly for a pick 6 or something deep in territory or something, I genuinely think the Rams will win this game and can win the Super Bowl if he can play relatively clean. That's all it comes down to for the Rams.
Yeah. You know a lot more about Ramsey than me. What's the type of receiver he matches up best against? Obviously, he matches up well against everyone. That's why he's the best. But is he better against a a guy like Mike Evans or like a fast, smaller guy?
Definitely Mike Evans. I mean, that's the thing Ramsey does. He's 6'2". He ran a 4.4 40. Like, he's huge for a cornerback and quick. So I think that's where he's good against everyone. But like a guy like Mike Evans is easy work for him because this isn't even a question. This isn't even biased. He's the best tackling defensive back in the NFL. Like, that's not even a question. And so he's so physical that a physical guy like Mike Evans, Jalen Ramsey is licking his lips for this. The guy who gives him trouble, honestly, the guy who gives him trouble, there's two. Debo, because you can put him in the running back. And so you're like, now you're taking Ramsey and put him in a weird spot. He's not.
And if there's one person who's hard to tackle, it's Debo. You got to give him that.
Yeah, Debo. And then Devontae Adams, who's just or like the super shifty guys.
Yeah.
Give him more problems. Again, I think Jalen Ramsey is still really good against those guys. But the agility shifty guys. And then Tyreek Hill is hard for everyone just because he's unique, right? He's just unique. And I think no one matches up well against him. You just have to scheme him. But if you have a one-on-one matchup, especially in this game, him versus Mike Evans, Jalen Ramsey is going to win 85% of the time. Like
over under is 48. I'm taking the under. What are you taking? We're both taking the Rams though.
Yeah, I'll take Rams in the over.
Okay. So you think Tom Brady's going to score some points?
Yeah, why not? I mean,
when Tom dumps, he dumps hard though.
Yeah, but
think about that game at Denver where he when Manning's last year, he just nothing.
Yeah, I agree. But I think what I look at is the Rams played him earlier this year, and the Rams kind of killed him the entire game. They were winning fairly big the entire game, and Brady put up 400 yards that game, and I think 3 or 4 touchdowns. I mean, he put up some points. But the Rams were up by 13, 14, 15 every single possession. So it's like Brady's going to get his. So, I mean, again, 48, you look at that. If you think about that as like 31, 21, that covers. And I think I can see that.
Now I want to change my mind. No, I'll stay under for you. Bills, Chiefs, you're talking about Tyreek Hill. This is the one that I've had the most trouble with.
Yeah.
It's 1.5 to Kansas City. They're respecting the Bills, and that's bid down to 1.5. And the over-under is 54. So it's the weather's saying 38 degrees at Arrowhead Stadium. That's pretty good weather.
Yep.
It's going to be a good one.
I mean, again, if the Bills play like they played last week, they're going to win. And I think Josh Allen, it's been an interesting strategy. I was reading an article about it today that the Bills coaching staff did not really deploy Josh Allen as a runner a lot this year. They basically did it in 4 games. It was their last 3 games and the game early in the season against the Chiefs. The problem is he's so big that you can't spy him with a safety, right? There's how many people on the field are big enough and fast enough to keep up with Josh Allen? There's not many. And so that's the problem.
Yeah, because he has these great angles he can take because it's a pass play.
Totally, for sure.
That's not like
I'm not saying put him in a running back. Yeah, I'm not saying put him in as running back, but as a quarterback, who's not, because if he's doing his job right, a defensive tackle is not coming at him.
No.
Right? And so in space, right? So take even any running back. In space, how many guys are that big and that fast in the NFL in space? And not many, right? And that's the problem he poses, is that you can't really spy him. So if he's going to run, he ran for 65 yards last game. I don't know what you do about that. Chiefs don't have anyone to match up with them there, but the Chiefs are an infinitely better team than they were when they played the Bills last time. I agree with you. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to take the Chiefs minus 1.5 because I think the Chiefs are the second best team in football, but I mean, the Bills are a wagon if they play well like they did last week. And that's like such a caveat and such a cop-out, but like they're so good like last week, and they showed it that they can be that good, and they did it in negative 10 degree weather. Like, it's not like it was a dome or like some sort of perfect conditions. But the other thing is that was the first home game in Buffalo in 30 years. That adds a little bit of juice to you too. So what's it going to be like going into Arrowhead, that's the loudest stadium in the NFL? It's going to be tough for them for sure.
Was it? I thought they had the home game against the Ravens last year before they went to the AFC Championship. That was at Ravens.
Oh, maybe they did. Why did I? Oh, you know what it is? They didn't have fans for that game.
Ah, that's what it was. That makes sense.
And maybe they did have fans, but it wasn't their full fan. They did not have their full complement of, 60,000 people at their game.
Yeah, watching the Steelers get blown out by the Chiefs after going up 7-0 and getting a +2 turnover ratio in the first half. They're a wagon. You said it. Yeah. They're an absolute wagon. I think it comes down to Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the Patrick Mahomes who's slumping, not finding people, doesn't have the rhythm? When he brings that rhythm to the offense, they just hum.
It's over, yeah.
And I don't want them to make the Super Bowl as a fan. I actually want the Bengals to make it out of the AFC. I think they'd be so fun. But I think they can't be stopped at home if he's humming, if the offense is humming, and they're just such a better team, like you said. So I'm also on the Chiefs, and then the over-under's 54. I'm gonna go over just because.
Yeah, I want points. I want
points. This is probably the game of the week.
Here's what I'm rooting for.
Bucks, but
what I'm rooting for is talking game or wanting people to win. I think it would be really cool to have Packers Chiefs playing in the Super Bowl. That was Super Bowl I that was played at the LA Coliseum.
Oh, and was it?
Cool. Yeah, it'd be cool to have that at SoFi. Would be a cool thing. But again, obviously I want the Rams.
Should they play at the Coliseum instead?
My dad and I were joking about that because of COVID protocols, they should need to have it in an outdoor venue and change it last minute to the Coliseum.
It's almost, I haven't been, but it's almost indoor out. It's almost like outdoor already because it's so airy, right?
Yeah. So what they said, basically what it is, because it is an open air stadium, wind can come in. It does have you can get air in there.
Yeah.
Basically the roof, because they actually had a lightning delay. The roof is almost, if you can imagine it, like a
white
canopy.
tent looking.
Yeah, it's almost like a tent. So their roof is a tent. So rain won't matter, but wind can be a factor. Cold can be a factor. Again, it's LA, so cold is never a factor, but it could be in theory, right? Yeah. If it was actually that cold. But yeah, I mean, it would be really cool to see Chiefs Packers. Obviously, I would like Rams. I mean, Rams Chiefs would be cool. That's a replay of the Monday night game from a few years ago. That would be awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of good football this weekend. I'm going to be watching a lot of football this weekend.
Yeah, I'm going Bengals Packers for the Super Bowl. That'd be fun for me. But yeah. I would take your Rams too. I would just be scared they lock them down too much. I don't want Jalen Ramsey on those star receivers.
Wait, so you want a fellow AFC North team in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, as long as it's not the Ravens, I'm chilling. I mean, when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl with Chris Collinsworth and lost it twice, do I really feel that threatened by the Bengals? You know what I feel threatened by as a fan of a team is stature, is legacy. So I feel threatened by the Patriots. What?
You know what you need to feel threatened by is Stu with the Bengals winning the Super Bowl.
With his Bengals license plate rolling around Orange County?
You need to be worried about that
turning
guy
from cringe to almost cool.
The room upstairs from you. You need to worry about that.
All right, I'll worry about that. No, I feel like they're so low life. I mean, you don't feel that way?
No, I agree.
It's almost cute or it'd be like Utah making the playoff.
Yeah.
Can't
be mad about it.
Bad as a Oregon fan? I don't know.
No, you can't feel that bad about it. I'm with you.
But with this, with the Olympics, the Coliseum's hosting track, but obviously SoFi Stadium's so they're gonna have the 100-meter dash final, which will be awesome.
At SoFi?
No, at the Coliseum.
Sweet.
And so they've still got some good stuff at the old school because that's where the Olympics was before, but they've obviously got opening and closing ceremonies at SoFi.
Yeah.
So I feel like that strikes a good balance.
Yeah. No,
they're both awesome stadiums, but you gotta, SoFi's gonna put the best show.
Oh yeah.
Best for the cameras. It's best for TV.
So. Yeah, you got to figure out a time to get out to SoFi. The Steelers will be there in 2 years, and you got to get out there.
Do we play NFC West in 2 years?
Yeah, not this year, but the next year. And the Steelers will be at the Rams.
Yeah, I'll definitely get out there.
Yeah.
Okay, we missed it. We were supposed to do this at the Bucks game, but I just wanted to talk to everyone about AB, our favorite person. Connor's taking a long sip of that raspberry White Claw.
AB, I've said it for years, has the worst CTE I think that's ever been recorded.
Okay, he's saying he doesn't have any mental health problems.
Yeah, everyone who has mental health problems says that. Anyone who
That's
has
like every
I'm an
person who doesn't
alcoholic.
have mental health problems says that.
Yeah, if I'm an alcoholic, no, I don't have an alcohol problem. If I'm addicted to anything, that's the point of an addiction. A point of a problem is you don't recognize it's a problem.
You know what's the biggest tell is when he said he doesn't have mental health issues. He's on Brandon Marshall's podcast, and it's called, quote, I Am Athlete.
Yeah, I mean, AB's done. Does he ever play in the NFL again?
Wait, you got to check out these glasses. Yes, he does play again.
Really? Do you think he plays next season?
Yes. Okay, check out these glasses. These are like Frozone. Do you see them?
These are like Frozone.
Are they not?
No, they are.
I think his look is sick. I mean, I'm not a fashion guy, but one of our listeners, comment below. What do you think?
Drinking Happy Dads. Yeah, I mean, AB needs to get some health. I hope, again, I've said it for multiple years now. I hope for his sake and his mental health, he stops playing football. It's not going to happen, but I really hope that's the case.
Yeah. And the funny thing was, I think the NFL was absolutely freaking out when the stuff about his injury and his ankle came out, and he was legit injured because of how Arians was on the sideline. He's a little rough around the edges. And then it comes out this last week. You saw it in the game against the Eagles. He goes up out of the sideline. There's a dog pile. One of their guys is about to get a 15-yard penalty for pulling an opposing player out of the dog pile, and just whacks him on the
to be honest, I think that's an overreaction.
He kind of was like falling, and to be fair to Bruce Arians, he does have a partially torn Achilles. So respect to that former Steelers offensive coordinator of mine. But
yeah, here's the thing. It's two things. One, he's an old guy. He's an old man. He's an old school coach. That I guarantee you, he got slapped in the head 100 times when he was playing. So in his head, it's not as bad as someone who's not that old. But I think the bigger thing is, dude had a helmet on. Why do you care that much?
I don't care. I thought it was funny.
No, I know. I'm saying, why does anyone
Because
care?
the NFL was playing like politics to the max. Like, Bucks, don't cut him right away. Don't cut AB right away. We got to get this medical thing worked out. Then AB doesn't even show up to his mandatory like doctors thing with the Bucks. So then they are able to cut him and not worry about legal. I just think it's funny that they were so, they were kind of tripping on how Arians is treating AB, even if it's all AB's fault and he's ridiculous outside of whether he has CTE or not. And then you get the next week, just Arians whacking a dude on the head. And in our day and age, that makes the news.
I agree.
Kind of
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
But your point is well taken.
I think the other thing is, they said when AB got signed, he was on a zero tolerance policy. One thing happens, he's cut.
Yeah.
Well, he had the fake vaccine card thing and didn't get cut. So they gave him an extra shot, and he played and then did his stuff. And whatever the reason is, I have never seen someone do that so publicly. I mean, Vontae Davis retired in the middle of a game, but that was during halftime and no one saw it. There's been no one I can think of ever that's just done that in the middle of a game.
He took off his clothes.
Yeah. That was the Tampa Bay security thought he was a guy running on the field. And
they're like, who is this guy? And he's jumping up and down the pictures and doing this.
He was in New York, but yeah.
Yeah, New York cheering for the Jets, just hyping them up. But yeah, I thought those were the most interesting points. And then did you see the driver, his personal driver who came and picked him up?
He was on Pardon My Take. I listened to it. It was pretty funny of him.
Oh, he came on?
Yeah.
Guy seems good. He's making bank driving all these guys.
Yeah.
But what'd he say on Pardon My Take?
It was just talking about what happened, that AB was calling him because he's known him, and that, talking about stuff like that. He said Sterling Shepard on the Giants smells really bad because he farts a lot in the car. But that was the funniest, most notable thing that I remember in the call.
That's funny. So with the CTE thing, we know that you can't right now, supposedly, unless the NFL is suppressing the science, that you can't diagnose CTE while someone's alive. Mm-hmm. And so the guys on the other side of your take, Connor, are saying, hey, we can't know this. Obviously, AB's acting absolutely childish and ridiculous and petulant. And I'm the biggest AB fan, as you know. Right. And my fantasy team's literally called Mr. Big Chest. Still, don't even own him. And so how do you come back and say, I just know this is CT? Is it just common sense, eyeball test, just common sense?
Yeah, I mean, you never want to just diagnose someone because when you can't see his brain, can't know all these things that are happening. But at the same time, I mean, you've talked about it. He was a quiet guy. He was just there to work hard. He didn't make a big deal. And then just as he's gone on through his career, he's gotten crazier and crazier. And then you look on his career, and he's had some enormous hits to him, right? He's had some horrible, horrible hits where he's been, really badly concussed. That you look at that and it's just adding up what's happened. Again, you never want to just assume what's going on. I don't know what, maybe it's not CTE, but clearly he needs to get some mental health help, whatever that is, right? It might just be something else and he needs to just get help. And I think what I would say is, even if it's not CTE, continuing to be in the NFL and getting hits like that is only going to make his whatever is going on with him worse, right? Whatever it is that's happening is only going to get worse if he keeps getting concussed, if he keeps, getting hit like he is. And part of what makes him a great receiver is he's tough and he's not afraid and he'll go at anyone, but like, you can't do that forever, right? And I think that's kind of the issue, I would say.
Yeah, that's kind of my take. I also think he has CTE, and I kind of am very partial to the, hey, you can't prove it, then don't say it. He could just be acting out. But at some point, you have to just use common sense.
Exactly.
Like, common sense says this guy was quiet. He was almost shy.
Right.
Like, even his Facebook Live, he was kind of shy. That was sort of like his breakout moment.
Maybe yeah.
Post some big hits, even kind of shy on his Facebook. Now he's not shy at all. No. He doesn't use a quiet voice. He used to use a quiet voice. And I just think it's a common sense thing. And I'm curious if the science, conspiracy theory time, if the science is being suppressed by the NFL on if you can diagnose, or there's roundabout ways to diagnose. Because, I mean, we talked about this, Connor, but there have been some really tragic things that have happened with people who've gotten CTE, and it hasn't been like a national story. Like, I don't remember his name, but that guy who killed 4 or 5 other people himself.
Yep.
Other things that have happened.
Aaron
and that
Hernandez
guy was an NFL Man of the Year.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a finalist or winner. I think he might have been the winner.
Yeah. I don't remember.
For someone to be the NFL Man of the Year, to go to killing 4 other people and himself, and then being diagnosed with CTE, so it's not like this guy just went insane like the Joker movie. It's terrible, and I'm curious behind the scenes what's going on politics wise at NFL HQ in New York.
Yeah, and I mean, here's my thing too: is even if you can't see CTE, like, you can see it in the person and how they act. Like, you can tell. And again, even if you big conspiracy, let's say CTE is not real, but getting concussions all the time is going to cause issues. It's brain trauma.
Yeah, take away the name.
Yeah, you're gonna have issues in your life from getting hit in the head all the time. I don't care if it's CTE. I don't care whatever it is. That's a problem. And so that's the thing. Like, fine, AB doesn't have CTE. Dude is still like clearly has gone off the rails in some direction. And I think all of these concussions that he's had are not helping that. Right. Absolutely. And so I think that's the big thing of where, like, a guy like AB, like, I just hope he gets help and figures it out. And I hope it's not CTE, right? I hope it's just something else that he can get fixed and be better, because I don't want anyone to have to deal with that. But man, if there's a poster boy of somebody who you could track CTE throughout their career, it's AB.
Yeah. And that's scary because that's in career. It used to be we track these guys after their career. Oh, right. We see what happened to Sean Merriman. I think that's his name, right?
Yep.
These different guys. You
or Junior Seau was a good one.
Junior Seau, yeah.
Yep.
So, all right, we're gonna run NBA for a second. Connor still, he was saying before the show, this is the farthest in the season where he has yet to make his bold prediction for the year.
Yeah.
I think we're still going to let it slide, Connor. I think we're still going to give you one more week to make it, but let's talk a little NBA, just kind of the basics, the fundamentals, if you will.
Yeah. All right. My bold prediction, I don't think I'm not as in tune with the NBA as I have been in years past. And I think
because your Rams bias is getting out of control.
Yeah. My football team's finally gotten good, so I have something to pay attention to instead of focusing on NBA week 1. But I mean, the Grizzlies are overperforming, and Ja Morant is playing at an MVP level. And I think he's still 5th in MVP odds right now. He's plus 1,400 last time I checked. I mean, I think he's going to win MVP. The things he's doing, you haven't seen since AI. He has the third most points in the paint of any player in the NBA. No point guards have that in a long time. Like he's incredible. He's winning them games. He's clutch. He's huge. John Morant's unbelievable. I think the big surprise, other than the Grizzlies this season, Chicago Bulls, #1 seed in the East. I think that's pretty insane. I think especially Lonzo's out now 6 to 8 weeks. I think another bold prediction. I think they're in a play-in game, right? I don't think it's that bold, but I think that they're definitely going to finish in the 7 to 10 range in the East. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. The NBA, there's a lot that can happen. Lakers look horrible, but Anthony Davis has been out. Who knows what's going on there? You know, you have your usual characters like the Suns and the Warriors and the Heat and the Bucks and the Nets. Like they're all good, but yeah, I need to dive in a little bit more to figure out what's
the play-in still cool, or is it not cool anymore? I'm starting to feel like it's not cool. It was cool the first year during COVID. I was like, this is kind of cool, but it might have just been because it was COVID, and we were kind of desperate for something when we're all sitting around our rooms locked inside.
Totally, and I mean, the big thing with the play-in game was they literally created it to get Zion into the playoffs, and then he didn't even make the play-in game.
So the NBA is that micromanaged.
Yeah.
Since David, and is that the legacy of David Stern?
I mean, that's the NBA just being aware and wanting to put the best product on the floor, right? Zion that year, 2 years ago in 2020, was awesome, but started late in the season. And they said, is there a way we can get this guy into the playoffs? And so they figured it out. But again, they didn't even end up winning the games. I mean, dude hasn't even played this season. He's like 400 pounds now. I don't know what's going on. So I love the NBA. I'm excited once the Rams win the Super Bowl to start focusing more on the NBA and get back in tune with it.
Are you though, or are you just saying that? I'm hearing something like something might have shifted for you at the NBA, or are you just as hyped as ever? You like the product?
No, I mean, I love it. I think the difference is I don't have the time I used to have. I used to watch 6 games on League Pass every night. I used to be all invested. I don't have that much time. I'll watch
high
a game
school. Your mom's
night.
Cooking you dinner. You just can't.
Oh, high school, college was the same thing. Even the first couple of years out of college, that was my life, was watching NBA. Well, I mean, big is college basketball, but watching college basketball, watching NBA, and it's just dropped. I don't have the time to watch all that stuff anymore. But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited to get back in. I think there's a lot of parity in the NBA this year, so I think there's a lot to kind of watch and figure out.
Yep. All right, we're gonna call it.
Let's call it.
That's it. Next week, you guys get Australian Open and Novak Djokovic talk, but not yet.
Love it.
Enjoy that divisional round and stay spitting fire, everyone.
Woo!